What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, What's Up G, back with another banger, and I am the best reporter on entertainment. Now, if you're like me, you've actually followed Shannon Sharpe's career when he was playing football up to when he got on Undisputed with Skip Bayless. Now he doing Nightcap with Ocho Cinco. He doing his thing over at Club Shay Shay. But now we got some breaking news. Some very disturbing allegations are coming from one of his exes through the attorney Tony Busby. Yeah, Tony Busby, the same one who tried to sue Jay-Z, and now Jay-Z got him barred from doing law in New York. The same Tony Busby who went after Deshaun Watson. The same Tony Busby who is now known as being a lawyer or attorney who comes up with frivolous cases and goes after people in a frivolous way. But let's get into it, because now we got a new case coming for Shannon Sharpe after Shannon Sharpe just announced that he has $100 million deal. The day after Shannon Sharpe announced that, Tony Busby and coming with a lawsuit for $50 million. Now, with this lawsuit, this is just a lawsuit asking for money. There is no charges involved with this. Once again, this is coming from Shannon Sharpe's ex-girlfriend, who now he is not with, and now a lawsuit is coming out saying all this stuff. Let's get into it, y'all.
This recent lawsuit is going to bring a lot of chaos and turmoil to Shannon Sharpe's life, but I believe this lawsuit is a lot deeper than what meets the eye. Disgraced Houston attorney Tony Busby has announced he's filing a lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe on behalf of a Jane Doe. If you've been following celebrity lawsuits, especially in the last year and a half, then you would know that Tony Busby has been a recurring character. He's literally involved in suing literally everyone, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, his lawsuits are deemed frivolous, especially with Jay-Z more recently, where Tony Busby got himself in a lot of trouble filing a lawsuit against Jay-Z on behalf of a Jane Doe that Jay-Z has never met. Busby would announce the lawsuit on Facebook.
Busby actually, Jay-Z took it to the extent to get the other attorneys to look into it from New York. He's barred from New York law. Yeah, he can't do another frivolous lawsuit in New York. And honestly, I'm starting to feel like he should be barred in other places too, because this is getting insane. Let's keep going, y'all.
Of all places, and he would put, late last night, the Busby law firm filed a civil lawsuit on behalf of a brave young woman who alleged she was brutally essayed by former NFL player Shannon Sharpe on multiple occasions. The last incident occurred in January of 2025. The lawsuit filed under the pseudonym Jane Doe lays out a pattern of intimidation, manipulation, and blank, including allegations that Shannon Sharpe repeatedly threatened to choke and slap Jane Doe. The case seeks $50 million in damages. The case is on file in Department 11, Clark County State Court, Nevada, the county where the alleged conduct occurred. The egregious and concerning facts of the case are set forth in detail in the public filing. I'm extremely proud to represent Jane Doe. It takes a great deal of courage to stand up against those with power, fame, and money. I look forward to pressing this case in court. If you are a real victim, from my perspective, Tony Busby should be the last lawyer you should hire to represent you. Because when you go with Tony Busby, the automatic assumption is this is a money grab. This is frivolous. You are lying, because Tony Busby has been lying on people for the last 50 years, bruh. Tony Busby is a known fraudster. And everything about this lawsuit aligns up with everything that Tony Busby does. With the Jay-Z stuff, Tony Busby tried to extort or hold Jay-Z hostage for millions of dollars before going public. What Tony Busby does is he would hold a lawsuit until something in your life is about to happen. With Deshaun Watson, he held on to the lawsuits until Deshaun Watson was about to get a huge deal, and then he struck to extort Deshaun Watson for money in a
Talk to
settlement.
him, Flacco.
With this Shannon Sharpe lawsuit, he held on to the lawsuit, and he filed a day after it got announced that Shannon Sharpe is about to get $100 million.
Talk to him, Flacco.
Even though Shannon Sharpe hasn't publicly spoke on the new $100 million deal, his co-host will pretty much confirm the rumors by quote tweeting and saying, "Oh, we finna be richer," because Shannon Sharpe is currently with the Volume, right? And that's Colin Cowherd's network. As soon as that's over, Shannon Sharpe is about to get a Joe Rogan-esque deal. And the day that was announced, Tony Busby was rubbing his hand like Birdman, knowing he was about to try.
Yeah, because we talk about Drake and Kendrick a lot. Drake's lawsuit, a part of his lawsuit, was saying that UMG tried to devalue him as an artist, right? There's no different than what Tony Busby is now trying to do to Shannon Sharpe because he wouldn't pay him. And I feel like attorneys like Tony Busby should have to pay for this, bro. Like, no, you shouldn't be able to practice law. You shouldn't be able to have money in your bank account for this. If this man has worked, literally worked, not lied, not played on the coattails of real victims, sitting at a desk filing frivolous paperwork all the time. But no, this man woke up and worked. Honestly, Shannon Sharpe is up there. I think he passed Stephen A. Smith, honestly, for the hardest working man in sports entertainment. This dude don't stop. He wake up, he go on ESPN, he right after that. He on his socials right after that. He doing Nightcap right after that. He on Club Shay Shay. Like, that is insane. The work ethic is insane, bro. He worked for it. So now he about to get a bag, 100 million plus, that he worked for. Anybody who watch anything in sports, you know this man worked for it. And he stayed humble and waited his turn because he could have slapped Skip Bayless. Probably should have slapped Skip Bayless. He stayed humble and worked for it. I'm not for the necessarily the plight of Shannon Sharpe, but I'm for the plight of that ain't cool when you work that hard and you just got to do like Tony Busby on the sideline praying on you. And he's probably been praying on him because he broke up with the girl. So now that he has a big situation coming to him, a big settlement of money, now you want to drop this on him, basically threatening him. I'm sure he's in the background saying, I'll stop if you pay me. But the lawsuit is 9 times out of 10 frivolous and a joke like everything else Tony Busby does. And I am all for protecting women. I'm big on that. But I'm also all for the situations with women where it's not true. Where you got a well-known attorney, Tony Busby, who is known for literally lying on people. And he's out there throwing salt on the women that really need help. Because I don't play that on this channel. It is well documented on my channel. It's belt that on people like that. Yeah, we got some viral clips off Diddy. We got some viral clips off anybody doing weird stuff. We don't play that over here. I used to listen to some DJ Academics. Then when that weird stuff with that little boy, man, I ain't heard nothing from him since. I don't play that. But it throws salt in the game for the women who really need help. When you got people like Tony Busby doing weird stuff like this. From a media standpoint, I can see the background and see all the weird stuff he does every single time. And if you want a clear indicator, it's what Flacco just said. I'm glad he said it. And I ain't have to say it because now we both going to be saying the same thing. And I ain't seen this video. He always does it right after you announce what you're doing. That means you were actually threatening me in the background. That's how these things work. That's how they actually work. I know to the common person, they're like, oh no, he just came out. No. He been threatening them. And Shannon Sharpe is 9 times out of 10, much like Jay-Z saying, yo, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. We about to go forward with this deal. And not only that, I hope Shannon Sharpe has the galls, much like Jay-Z, to then go after Tony Busby. Because you playing with me. So if something were to happen with this deal for Shannon Sharpe, that would be insane. That would be insane, bro. And you literally worked this hard for you to come through and play with me. It's crazy.
Hold Shannon Sharpe hostage. I want to make this clear. If Shannon Sharpe is guilty, he doesn't deserve a platform. He doesn't deserve the $100 million.
Right.
But if Shannon Sharpe is innocent, I want Shannon Sharpe to take everything that Tony Busby has. Take his house, take his wife, take everything from this guy. Because at some point, enough is enough, bruh. Now, what we know about this lawsuit so far is that it's being filed by a woman that Shannon Sharpe met at a gym. And no, it's not Michelle. All right. So we don't know the woman's identity yet, but what we do know and can confirm is the woman who's filing a lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe isn't the Michelle that was caught on IG Live being intimate with Shannon Sharpe. This Jane Doe actually met Shannon Sharpe 2 years ago when she was 20 years old. They met at a gym. That's where their first encounter was. And apparently Shannon Sharpe and her began talking because they were both a part of a weight loss competition. I already know how they're going to try to paint this man, bro. They're going to try to paint him as a predator, bro. 20 is legal. 20 is legal, bro. And if anything, man, she was probably preying on him, bro. She was probably preying on Shannon Sharpe, bro. A multi-millionaire, ex-NFL player, it's a highly successful podcast, man, stop it, bro. Broke 20-year-old woman, man, cut it out, bro. But Shannon, you know you ain't got no business with no 20-year-old. You know you ain't got no business with no 20-year-old in your mid-50s. Now, I'm not saying you are predator. I'm saying you got no business with no 20-year-old, bro. All right? They crazy, right? They probably immature, probably broke. When the money dry up, they probably don't know how to let that money go, bro, because you probably their first multimillionaire, bro. So as a 50-year-old man, bro, who is probably well-versed in risk assessment, man, a 20-year-old ain't worth it, bro.
Right.
Not at all. Now, she will claim that Shannon Sharpe pursued her heavily, bruh. And when he finally got her, that's when things changed. She admits they got into a consensual relationship, but then he got very controlling and verbally blank afterwards. Now, she will state that he was very demanding and demanded complete control over her time and her body, expecting her to be at his house on his schedule, on his command, whenever he called. So far, I ain't hear a crime yet. As far so far, what I've heard is something that's expected outside of the verbally stuff, right? Complete control. Listen, bro, I'm a multimillionaire in my 50s. If I wanted a career woman, if I wanted somebody who is 40 plus with a career and a mind of her own who can go out, no, bro, you is in your 20s. Ain't no partying, ain't no going out with the girls. Nah, bro, you coming over this mansion, you getting your back dug in every night. You eating this and you going home, bruh. That's it. That's all. But in return, you get the provision, the resources, and the assets that you are dating me for. You're not attracted to a 50-year-old Shannon Sharpe. You are with him for money and he's with you for your body. It's a fair exchange in my eyes, all right? Because you could have very easily said, yeah, I'm not coming over. I'm not going. You consensually and willingly entered into a transactional relationship, and now you're trying to paint him as a monster for your relationship being transactional. It will continue. Doe claimed that there was one argument in particular that terrified her when he yelled at her while a firearm was visible in the room. Yo, lawyers are so slick and diabolical, bruh. Yo, peep the framing of this. It terrified me because he yelled at me while a firearm was in the room. Bro, this man lives in a mansion, bro. This man home just got robbed and raided at some point this year. You don't think he had firearms in his house? He never lifted a firearm at you. He never pointed it at you. He never used it on you. But peep the word. Oh, I was terrified. Had a firearm in the room while he yelled at me. Yo, this is lawyer.
That's what lawyers do, man. They tell you to go for like the extra, like you gotta sensationalize. If your car hits your car, they're not gonna say, "Oh, the car hit my car." No, you gotta tell them that the car came barreling down the street to a screeching halt once it collided with your vehicle. You see what I'm saying there? Come on, man. It's insane, bro. I can't. The deeper I get into the media, the deeper I see through the BS all the time, man. And it's insane what the common person gets fed.
Framing, because essentially what's going on is he wants you to lead to your own conclusion. They're protecting themselves from a countersuit. Because when you say, "Oh, he pointed a firearm at me," no, they can't say that because that's when Tony Busby getting his eye rated, right? He getting his assets taken by Shannon Sharpe. So they gonna lead you into your own conclusion. Oh, I was terrified. He was yelling. Firearm was in the room. Man, you thinking he probably did something with the firearm, bro? When all he did was talk to her. Now, here's where they try to paint him as a monster, and this is where I think is pretty reasonable what he did in this situation, okay? So, plaintiff tried sharing her location with her friends from her iPhone, just in case, the doc stated. But Sharp saw her sharing her location. The moment he realized what she was doing, he grabbed her by the neck and told her, "If you ever do that again, I will effing blank you." This is he said, she said, and so far we haven't seen anything to really back this up. All we know is Tony Busby is a liar and a fraud, so anything attached to him is a lie and a fraud. But we're gonna give her the benefit of the doubt, and let's just say, okay, she's telling the truth. While they was in an argument, he seen her dropping her location, and he said, "Hold on, if you do that again, I will effing." Yo, this man house just got robbed. This man is a celebrity. This man understands the climate of Los Angeles, right? Like he understands the climate of Los Angeles. Now, I believe they were in his LA home, or let's say Nevada home. This man understands the climate right now, bro. All it takes is a disgruntled woman dropping her location to the thugs she know, and now they come into your crib blicked up trying to rob you, bro. So
That's
yeah,
exactly how it
duh.
goes on the West Coast.
If we're in an argument and you drop your location, I'm stopping that.
Yeah, shout out Pop Smoke. That's exactly how it goes on the West Coast. I still haven't heard a crime committed. Let's keep going.
No. You trying to get me killed is what I'm thinking. So the incident where she was dropping her location took place in Los Angeles because they moved to Nevada shortly after his home got robbed. So yeah, bro, that man is from the project. He's from the hood, bro. Dropping your low as a woman, man. Listen, bro, I can't fault Shannon Sharpe for taking precautions, homie. Now this next part is pretty disturbing, and I'ma just not even give my judgment on this. I'ma just let the court play it out. So she goes on and she stated that following a move by both to Nevada during the summer of 2024, Doe states in her shoot that she attempted to break things off with Shannon Sharpe, that she wanted nothing to do with him after seeing the Instagram live with Michelle, where he was digging in Michelle guts and he accidentally turned on IG Live, which she would say after she attempted to break it up with him, that led to him graping her. Now, she would say that in her suit, the first instance happened October of 2024 at her apartment. She said the then 56-year-old Shannon Sharpe forced himself on her while she was crying and sobbing. The second instance, the suit alleged that it happened a few weeks later, right? January of 2025, where she would claim that Shannon Sharpe came over to her house again. Now, the first time he forced himself on her or allegedly raped her while she was crying and sobbing, that apparently was not enough for her to cut things off. She invited him over her house again after that because he promised to buy her Christmas and birthday gift. But instead, he violently forced himself upon her again. One will say if somebody did that to you once as a woman, that's probably like a deal breaker, right? Like that's probably something where you would never speak to that person again, where you will call the authorities, where you will go to the police, where you will get that person locked up, where that
That's what I was thinking also, Flacco. And this comes into where you dealing with Tony Busby, who's known as nothing but a liar. He's known as Jay-Z exposed him as a liar and exposed that he shouldn't be doing anything as an attorney on the East Coast. So now he's on the West Coast, and we got this lawsuit where I'm seeing like it looks crazy. I'll let y'all decide in the comments what y'all think about that. You get what I'm saying? So you're saying that he did that after he broke up with you, after y'all broke up, then he did that. Then a week later, you invited him over your house, and it happened again. And all these things didn't start happening until y'all was done with each other. I don't know. I don't want to cast my decisions on or any. I'm gonna let y'all decide. It just Tony. As soon as I see Tony Busby, I think somebody that I want to lose everything in life. Honestly. Now for the females that because it's just so annoying because there's females that really need help, bro. And then you got stuff like this throwing salt in the game. This is no different than dealing with not with the female, like not with this young lady. Let's take her out of it. What Tony Busby sits here and does is no different than a female screaming X, Y, and Z, and somebody going to jail for it, and then you find out 10 years later it was a lie. And then you'll have a female over here saying it, and don't nobody want to believe it. Tony Busby is literally making a living off telling the lie. So whether or not, like, it's just so frustrating as a male to see this stuff. I know I'm going to have females who see this and they might think, no, it's just frustrating as a male to see this stuff. And then it's also frustrating from a female standpoint because when stuff like this happens, and you'll see females who lie, and then you'll have a female who stuff happened to her, and nobody a believer. That's so whack, in my opinion. It's like it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Let's keep going, y'all.
not something somebody can do to you, and then you go back to being friendly with them or even wanting gifts from them. So to hear that to me is very sus and very sketchy. But with this Shannon Sharpe lawsuit, listen, bro, I believe there's something up here, bro. I think this is get back. And now, if you guys are not aware, bro, a lot of people was blaming Shannon Sharpe for the Fox Sports lawsuit because Shannon Sharpe and the stylist was really close friends. People know that Shannon Sharpe and that stylist actually linked up weeks before the lawsuit was announced. Now, a lot of people, right?
Yeah,
Now
I
you
heard
can
that
look
too.
on the YouTube streets, all right? I believe like Marcellus Wiley also hinted to this in his video, where they believe that Shannon Sharpe bankrolled, funded the lawsuit against Skip Bayless and Fox Sports in retaliation for Fox Sports letting him go. Now, who knows if Shannon Sharpe did this? Who knows if it's true that he's even involved? But what I do know is this could very well be retaliation.
Now, the day before yesterday, we dropped the video with DJ Academics, how he does media tricks. Now, this is the media again. Shannon Sharpe is, I heard this, Flacco heard this, that he was actually funding that girl's lawsuit against FS1. And that was a situation that looks like it was a real situation filed by a real attorney. But look at how the media tends to like handle stuff. Like, no, like I ain't gotta go right at you. I'm gonna do sleight of hand and get you up out of here. But if that's the case and they doing this back to him, that's super corny. Cause that's not a real situation. I don't know.
This could very well be Fox Sports and Shannon Sharpe retaliating against Shannon Sharpe by bankrolling their own lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe. Now, do I believe this lawsuit is gonna go far? I don't, bro. To be honest, yo, I just listen, bro, because everything she stated, there's really no tangible proof or evidence. I ain't really see any messages in the complaint. I didn't see any type of correspondence with Shannon Sharpe where he's taking responsibility and owning up to it. So at this point, it's he said, she said, bro. And with Tony Busby track record, good luck convincing a jury, bro. Y'all let me know in the comment section. What do you guys?
Yeah, and how come no criminal charges is filed? If we don't got no, and then like, like you can correspond back to those dates of phone calls and text messages. If the phone calls and text messages ain't nothing, it's gonna look crazy, bro. And then once again, if this comes out and it's nothing by Tony Busby for the 1,000th time towards a black artist or entertainer, at what point does everything? What point does somebody go at him and try to strip him of everything? I know Jay-Z did it to him and cooked him. I would love for more strong black entertainers to cook Tony Busby. I ain't got the money for it. But you know, I got the lion heart. If I could, I would. If I could, I would. Put me in position, coach. All right. So let me know what y'all think about this. We got yet another Tony Busby lawsuit. I'm not going to speak too much towards the young lady. Towards the end of that, I'll let y'all determine what y'all feel in the comments. I will speak towards Tony Busby. That's where all my energy and all my comments were directed towards, more towards Tony Busby. These aren't me giving opinion. This is what actually happened to Tony Busby in New York and on the East Coast. This is what's been happening with Tony Busby. Not only does most of his cases get thrown out, he's now looked at as a joke. He's looked at like an injury lawyer who actually does serious cases. Yeah, he's looked at as like a joke. All right. So it's your boy, What's Up, Jay? Drop a comment on this. Let me know what y'all think about this Shannon Sharpe situation with it coming out right after, a day after he got his deal, or his deal was announced. Let me know what y'all feel about that. If ain't nobody told you they love y'all, I love y'all. Stay safe. And black men, stay safe out here. You got people like Tony Busby literally preying on you. If ain't nobody told you they love y'all, I love y'all. I'm out, y'all.